which is the costly and which is the cheaper solution, that we have to define that also. So we have to clearly depend upon the media also. Media plays an important role for showing the information on the network, for network from source to the destination. In the firewall, it was clearly defined when our network sends to the destination, there also you find the firewall is there. And that firewall will check the packet and it checks for which port this packet is. They opens, and in that firewall, it opens only two ports, port number 25 and port number 80. Port number 80 by default is for the websites, accessing the websites, and port number 25 by default for sending or receiving the mails. So two ports have been opened in the firewall and other ports are not being opened up. That can be utilized for different purposes. So this is one of the protection that has been done by the firewall in their front end. This firewall blocks each and everything. Only for accessing the internet, accessing the websites, the port 80 has been opened up there. And for email access, they have opened only 25 ports. Same here also, we defined in our firewall only two ports have to be opened up. If the other ports, say for example, you want to file transfer protocol, you want to open some file transfer, FTPs, then you have to open up port number 21. For port number 21, you can see that port can be opened for accessing your files on intranet or on internet. That is, whatever the database you have created and you want to show that database to, or the files, or whatever the information you want to show to the students or to anyone, then you can open a file transfer protocol, that is, which is port number 21. So, but you have to be open from the firewall. If the firewall has closed that port, nobody can able to access those files. So that is very clearly defined in the firewall itself, that these ports are to be opened by or configured by ourselves only. So this can protect the whole attacks from outside the network. So these two ports are important, which have been opened up by any network. If you go anywhere as in local area network or a wide area network, the firewall plays an important role. And while this firewall is a security appliance, it comes in a hardware or as well as in software. Whenever incoming or outgoing network traffic comes to this, it checks the security rules. It is our duty to define the rules, the security rules or the policies which has to be defined in our firewall. See, whatever the latest algorithm or whatever the latest security policies have been created, that should be there in our firewall. That firewall means a very simple thing. दीवार वाली एक आग जिसपे लगी हुई है दीवार, that is firewall, so that nobody can enter into our network, right? So it is very clear. A firewall typically establishes a barrier between a trusted internal network and untrusted external network, such as internet. A firewall is like a castle with a drawbridges. See, the other way around, I can say, you can create some zones inside the firewalls. That is demilitarized zone. In demilitarized zone, what you can do, define that whatever your IP address is, which has been binded by the real IP, or see, if there are two IPs, public IP or a private IP. Now your server or your, say for example, public IP server IP address is this one. That IP address you can bind with some dummy IP address. If somebody wants to attack on that particular IP address, that is a dummy one. So you can protect your website also. A hacker, particularly, they hacked on the IP address, not on, say for example, not on the websites. The domain name servers are not, they are not attacking the domain names. They attack only on the IP. So you define DMZ zones created inside the firewalls that can protect your IPs also. So whatever the IP displayed publicly is not the real IP. That can be shown in a different way. So in that sense, you can protect your websites also. It ensures one point of access into the network. So firewall, see, it's very clear. Firewall is the main thing which is required by each and every network, but that depends upon the number of density, how much density or the population of network your campus or in your building is. Say for example, there are 3,000 students are there, and every student is accessing the internet, or 5,000 students are there. Every student is accessing the internet. That means in GBs, or 1 GB, 2 GB. So 30 GB, 40 GB, 50 GB, like 500 GB. This kind of a data is required. If this kind of a data is required, your firewall should be good enough to bear this much of a load. So internal as well as external, this much of load is to be bear by the firewall. Then you have to ensure that also. If the firewall is not able to bear such kind of a data, then there is a congestion and the network always give you the slow network. It never works. So the main focus is on the firewall. Firewall is the main thing which can bear each and everything and control each everything. It's already informed, it involves both hardware as well as software. So as per, see what we have tested, we have tried both solutions, software solution also, which is open source available, and there is a hardware solution also. So we basically totally emphasize on the hardware itself. Hardware basically from any good company, if you buy the firewall with latest configurations, will protect the whole data of your internal network as well as everything you want to protect yourself. So this hardware of firewall hardware is very much important thing which caters each and everything. That is the main thing, main gate I can say for the protection of it. जैसे घरों के बाहर एक गेट लगाते हैं, it's just like that only. A firewall is required, right? So Windows operating or Mac OS have built-in firewalls. That every machine has a firewall, I can say. Windows, if you have a desktop machines, it also have firewall. So and you can do certain configurations in your machine so that nobody can access your data itself. But nobody aware about those things and how can we configure those firewalls in a single machine. So this is one of the device which is very much important for protecting yourself in the network security. Is the firewall. The second one is the intrusion detection. Intrusion detection is it's a device or a software appliance that monitors a network or a system of malicious activity or a policy violation. So it's particularly checks each and every thing which has been entered into our system. So its duty is basically to check everything. It monitors everything. जिसको बोलते हैं घुसपैठ, मतलब यहाँ से कोई अंदर आ रहा है तो उसको हम चेक करें. That is a security kind of a thing has been there after the firewall. Any malicious activity or a violation is typically reported either to the administrator. It will report to the administrator or centrally to inform everyone that their event has been occurred and we have to take care of it. So that will prompt some messages to the administrator that this kind of activity has been occurred. I have stopped that thing. If it is from your side, is you want to check it out, you can check it out. Otherwise, you want to clear it out, clear it. So it used to monitor suspicious activity on your network, and it can protect against known software exploits like buffer overflow. Means the buffer means the available memory which is available. So to send the information outside or to check the information, and that can be it can protect against those known softwares, and it can also protect the buffers overflow so that the overflow can be there. If the overflow is there, then it can create a congestion in the network. So this is very important thing in intrusion detection, that we have to check each and every packet which has been entering or going outside the network by the IDS, that is the intrusion detection system. So from clearly defined in this picture, that these are the machines which have been connected on local area network, and from local area network there is the IDS which has been installed centrally, and each and every machine has been monitored by the IDS. So these are the different attacks, security attacks. The most 10 common security attacks are denial of services, distributed denial of services, man-in-the-middle attack, phishing, drive-by attack, password attack, SQL injection attack, cross-site scripting attack, eavesdropping attack, and birthday attack, malware. These are very important common attacks which have been very much popular nowadays. So these to protect ourselves from these attacks, it's very important that whatever the things we require. Now, in the movie which I have shown you the picture, there were two important things which was pointed out. One is the proxy server. The other one is the router. See, in the networks, the router will give you exact route where the packet has to be routed, right? Say, for example, you write down google.com. It is the duty of the router to go to send the packet to the right direction, route to the right direction, and it will choose the shortest path. So that depends on the network. The router's duty is to define the shortest path, to fetch the information from the destination and give back the whole information to you. So router plays an important role. Now the router is also one of the hardware which plays an important role there with the security one. Whenever there is, see, routers should be good enough to bear the whole load, number one. Number two, it should have the capacity of redundancy of the network, of internet. Say, for example, if internet goes down, now internet is very important nowadays. During this COVID-19, you know that everybody is now totally dependent on internet. Nobody is going anywhere else. Now we are discussing each and everything on internet, and we are delivering lectures, everything on internet. Now this internet is very important nowadays. Now when we are talking that very important nowadays means it needs a redundant linkage, that another port is required. Say, for example, if internet goes down from one of the service provider, then automatically it will switch over to the network, to the other internet service provider. So internet will never break. So router having this much of a capability is required for 24/7 network connectivity, which we can say is 24/7. So router is of any good company you can just go and explore those things. But you really want to ask questions, what kind of a router we are using, that I can share with you that. But routers plays really a very important role. Number one. Number two, in the router, there should be the port should bear certain loads that is totally defined. Say, for example, we have a bandwidth of, bandwidth, if you know bandwidth is the important thing. If we don't have a bandwidth, we cannot serve the network, internal network, to 5,000 students if we have a bandwidth of 30 Mbps or 20 Mbps or 2 Mbps, 5 Mbps. That is not good enough for us. So if we have 2 Gbps, 5 Gbps, 10 Gbps of a network internet connectivity, that can bear the whole load of it, that can be distributed internally by the proxies. Now I use the word proxy here, right? But this router will handle each and everything. They should be capable of handling such kind of a load. Even we are sending certain videos or playing certain movies, it can bear that load also. Now this goes to the outside or inside the network. This router can handle each and everything. Firewall can protect the security, but the router can give you the exact routes from where it goes and from where it comes. Right? Now the second part is, it specifically mentioned, is the proxy server. See, for example, what is the function of the proxy? See, proxy, if you go to any cyber cafe, now there are no cyber cafes nowadays, but I'm just giving you one example. If you go to cyber cafe, if you see, there is only one internet connectivity and that has been connected to 10 machines. How it is possible? That means it has some server has been installed there, or something else has been installed there. It is not possible to give from one internet to give 10 machines access of internet. That can only be distributed through proxy. So what exactly proxy doing is, you have one internet connectivity with one real IP. Whenever there is internet, you get a real IP with that. If you are using internet on phones also, you get some IP addresses. And with that IP, that has to be binded with the local area network IP addresses, right? So you can define a local area. Now, local area network means whenever you go to any building, any university, any network, you go anywhere else, you will find a series of IP address 172.31.so and so, 172.16.so and so, 192.168. These are the these are the private IP addresses which can be used by anyone. So you can use those things, but the public IP address cannot be used. That you have to pay for that. Say, for example, you are paying for the internet. Every mobile phone is having internet. Now you are giving some money to the service provider. Say, for example, you are giving 300 rupees for accessing 1 GB per day from any service provider. So that means you are giving some fees to them. That is a license fee, and they are fetching them license fee. License fee, you heard about this 2G, 3G, 4G. So what is there? They are basically paying to the government of India telecommunication to give them a money to serve the people internet through internet. So they give some money to them. They hire the license to serve as a service provider. Now they are taking money from us also. Now just think over it. If we have in our campus, I'll just give you one example. We have 3,000 students. Every student is accessing internet on mobile phone. Every student is having a mobile phone, a smartphone, and 3,000 mobile phones means they are giving 300 rupees for 1 GB data per day. Just think over it. For the one of the campus. Now just think over a city. So how much money they have been collecting, right, by the service provider. But this is, I am talking about the private IP address. Now, public IP address, which is publicly distributed, right? Now I'm talking about the private IP address, which is on local area network. So in local area network, this can be used as private IP address on all the machines. If you access any machine, you will get a different IP address by DHCP server. DHCP is a dynamic host configuration protocol. We defined a configuration there in a server, DHCP server. We defined that whenever you switch on your device, the DHCP will give you IP address with some lease defined for 6 months or for 3 months. Lease has been defined for particularly device. Whenever you switch on your network or a machine, it will give you IP address for certain defined lease for 3 months, for 6 months. So we defined a lease for the period of 6 months for a student. So we can easily find out that this machine, this student machine is having this IP address at the backend, right? So this private IP address has been allocated via this proxy servers. Now this binding has been done in the proxy server. The duty of the proxy server is to bind those IP addresses, public as well as the private IP address. Number one. Number two, this proxy server is one of the most important things is do the filtering. That is content filtering, which has been defined. This content filtering is very important thing. When we talk about content filtering, that is very clear that which contents we want to show to the public. Say, for example, very simple example. I want to block Facebook or YouTube in a campus or in a house or in a building. It's very easy. I can go directly to the proxy. I can define in the content filtering. I can just write down youtube.com or say I can only write YouTube. That's all. I can write only this Facebook. So automatically the proxy will block. Whenever you type YouTube, it will block. It will send you a message that this content you are not able to open. This has been denied by services on this. So this proxy functioning is basically clearing of the content, number one. Number two, binding of the IP address. Right? These things can also be done in the firewall. But we don't want to give the whole load, everything on the firewall. You cannot set everything on the firewall. So we define certain things. One is the router function is to route this information to the exact location. The second one is the firewall, which take care of each and everything. Then the third one is the proxies. The proxy is very much important, and after the proxy, there is a defined policies which has been created in the proxy server, which I told you that different groups have been, you can create different groups and you define certain policies. These policies have been created and these content filters have been defined in these policies. That for this group, which policy is to be defined to be there, and for this group, for students, which policy is to be defined. Thus, the whole work has to be done at the back end by the proxies server, right? So this can be easily, but now this proxy server plays a very important role inside the campus. Now, but it checks everything. After this proxy server, there is a intrusion detection also, which checks each and everything. Even in the proxy server, you can control, you can define the ports also. Now, whenever we talk about ports, either you can define in the firewall or you can define on the proxy server. The proxy server basically you can use the open source proxy server. You can use the licensed proxy servers. You can take any hardware device which can work as a proxy server for the whole network. So these things can protect the whole network and can secure the whole network. But you have to upgrade time to time. Now, when we talk about this, these are the 10 most common cyber attacks. One is this denial of services. That means a very common attack is there is very popular attack. It means denial of services means it denies everything. Whenever you want to start certain services from any server, it denies. So that is one of the attack. Then if we go one by one, a denial of services attack overwhelms the systems. It basically takes care, it handles everything of that particular system resources. So it can handle each and everything. It cannot respond to the service request. It stops everything. Then the second one is the distributed denial of services attack. The distributed denial of services attack is the distributed systems. This attack is also an attack on system resources, but it's launched from large number of other host machines also, and they are infected by malicious software controlled by the attacker. I told you that malicious attack is basically insider attack. When I told you insider means insider does the maximum damage, and this information can be done by the either by the insider attack, or you can open up any malicious mail, and if you click any information, it comes into your machine and take control of everything. So large number of other host machines that are infected by malicious software is defined here, controlled by the attacker. Now, unlike attacks, they are designed to enable the attackers to gain or increase access, or denial of services does not provide direct benefit for the attackers. It doesn't give any direct benefit, but yes, however, if attacked resources belong to a business competitor, then the benefit of the attackers may be real. That means it does not provide any direct benefit to the attacker, but if this belongs to the business competitor, then the benefit of the attackers may be the real. Say, for example, online business, they are doing Amazon and all. If you request anything else from Amazon, it says denial of services. The business get lost. So another purpose of DOS attack can to take a system offline so that different kind of attack can be launched. So this attack, you can also say, it can take a system offline. That is not online. Now, when is the offline is there, so the number of things can be done and number of attacks can be launched on the machine. If you have a full control of the machine from your end, if you have one machine, you can have a full control then you can easily hack the machine. You hack the machine and you can do many things in that particular machine. See, the one of the simplest method of attacking the machine is, I don't know you heard about this open source platform is Knoppix. Whenever you have a bootable CD of Knoppix, and if you go to any server, if you just insert that CD or DVD into that particular machine and boot the machine from the drive, it will give you the whole data of the server. It easily enter into the system. So Knoppix is the open source software where you have just a simple platform with you on a pen drive or on a DVD or a CD. You can just plug in into the particular. Hello. Hello. Am I audible? Anyway, I'm discussing about this Knoppix. Now, Knoppix is basically any platform, bootable platform, where you can just insert it to any server. You can fetch the information. That is, you can take control of each and everything. The different types of DOS and these attacks are TCP sync flood attack, teardrop attack, Smurf attack, ping of death attack, and botnets. But see, when we have talk about this TCP, in this TCP sync flood attack means floods the target system with the request. It sends the flood of the request to the target system, which system has to be targeted. This causes the timeout and make the system crash. So in this attack, an attacker is required to use the buffer space during the transmission control protocol. That is to initialize or to handshake with them. The attacker basically floods the target system in a process. Basically, a request has been sent in a queue with a connection request, but does not respond when the target system replies to those requests. So that means the system has been totally hacked by this. This caused the target system to time out while waiting for the response for the attacker devices, which makes the system crash or become unusable. So this is one of the attack, which is the TCP sync flood attack. Through TCP, you can send a number of messages, flooding those messages, sending those requests in a queue, and can do all the congestion and just crash the system. The second attack of denial of service is the teardrop attack. Teardrop attack is basically a fragmentation has been done in the fields. That is to break into small pieces. Means a packet size is there, it enters, it do fragmentation there that breaks those packets, and these packets in a sequential to overlap these packets, and that the system gets confused. When you overlap those packets, it will not able to understand which packet is going in which direction, which packet is going in which direction. So they can take whole control, overlap one another on the attack host, and this attack system attempts to reconstruct packet during the process but fails. So the target system then becomes confused and crashes. If users don't have patch to protect against those attacks, then disables this block port 139 445. This is one of the remedies which then another attack is the Smurf attack. This is this attack involves IP spoofing. This means cheating is done, or you can do doodle here. That is can define like dhoka dena or kisi ka madhak banana, or you copy that. See, this using internet control message protocol ICMP to saturate the target network data. This attack methods use ICMP request and broadcast IP address. Here example, if in victim address is 10.0.0.10, the attacker would spoof. That means copy this and request to the network to broadcast this network by broadcast address 10.25. So it broadcasts to everyone. This request will go to all the IPs in this range of 10.0.0.0 to 10.255.255. 255. So huge kind of the whole network of this IP machine has totally been stopped. So this take care of each and every control of each and every of this series of network, and this process is repeatable and can be automated to generate huge amount of network congestion. So this is the real thing which can do congestions on the network. So this Murph attack is basically the what we can say is a kind of a cheating and or a replica that someone has taken a copy of the IP address and sent the information which the network never understand, and that can control and handle the network and can hack the network and do congestions. To protect your devices from this attack, you need to disable IP direct broadcast at the routers. So that is one of the remedy which you can do that. Another option would be to configure the end system to keep them from responding to the ICMP packet and broadcast. Other one attack is the ping of death. See, when we talk about ping of death, that means if you heard about this ping, we usually do ping for testing purpose. Whenever you send it, whenever you test the bandwidth, say for example, you have a 2 Mbps of bandwidth or a 4 Mbps of bandwidth or 10 Mbps of bandwidth, you can send the packet size of 10 Mbps from source to destination, and ping basically is the continuity to test the continuity of it. So ping minus t size of the packet to the particular IP source address. Then, so this ping of death attack, if somebody can take control of your machine or network, it can ping the network of the whole network and sends the ping information to every machine. So that can take control of everything. It sends the packet continuously and block the whole information and do the congestions. This type of attack uses IP packets to ping a target system with the IP size, which I defined that you can define the size itself. If you have a bandwidth of 2 Mbps, you can define 2 Mbps size with the IP address. So that gives a congestion, and with this congestion, the network gets slowed down and you cannot be able to access any other machine. The IP packet of this size are not allowed, so attackers fragment the IP. So what we do at the back end, we cannot give permissions to ping the machines from one machine to another machine. So we try to basically disable this ping activity at the network so that say for example, the students are doing a lot of testing there. In the ping command, students try to create a script file which can ping one machine to another machine in the network and create conditions. So from protecting those things, writing those script by the students for testing the network. So what we do is we basically disable those activities. We cannot ping those machines, but from the server itself, you can do certain activities, not from the ping of death attacks can block by using firewall that will check fragmented IP packets for maximum size. Next one is the botnets. See, botnets, you heard about this botnet means a robot. Bot means robot. It's automatically sends some information or set up by the hackers. That means botnets are the millions of systems infected with malware under hacker control in order to carry out DOS attacks. So this is basically what I can tell you, that this is a robot and network is a combination of called botnet or zombie. You can say zombie means and you can create your own army and see you have control of whole network and can control the whole network and do many things there. These bots or zombie systems are used to carry out attacks against the target systems. Often take control of everything of the target system and bandwidth and process capabilities. So these DOS attacks are difficult to trace because botnets are located in different geographical locations. It's very, very difficult to locate those botnets. The next one is the man in the middle attack. Man in the middle attack means is one of the examples what we do during when there was a old telephones. We tap those telephones, or we can use a telephone wire to connect telephone from outside, and we can dial or we can hear the conversation from source to the destination. This is one of the examples. So this is man in the middle. Any hacker can listen to your conversation. Any hacker can have the full control of your network, and nobody will be able to understand whether it is you or the hacker. So this attack occurs when a hacker inserts itself between the communication of client and the server. There are some common types of the man-in-the-middle attacks. That is session hijacking. And this attacker hijacks a session between a trusted client and a network server. This attacking computer substitutes its IP address for trusted client while the server continues the sessions and believe it's communicating with the client. For instance, the attack might unfold like this. The client connects to the server, the attacker computer gains control of the client. The attacker's computer disconnects the client from the server, and the attacker computer replaces the client IP address with the own IP address. And this all can be possible with the man-in-the-middle attack. So then we have to be careful about these attacks. Then the IP spoofing attack. IP spoofing attack is used by the attacker to convince the system that it is communicating with a known trustee entity. Here you can just see the diagram 2, where the victim and the server, and the attacker is sitting in between them. So the server, the victim, whatever the victim is typing anything or any information wants to fetch, it is routed through the attacker. So server never knows that it comes from the attacker or from. So it shows like that. So the direct connection has been disconnected and it has taken control by the attacker. So this attacker sends a packet with the IP source address of known trustee host instead of its own IP source address to target the. This target host might accept the packet and act upon. So a replay attack occurs when the attackers intercepts and save old messages, then tries to send this. So there is no single technology or configuration to prevent this attack. Next one is the phishing attack. Everybody knows aware about this phishing attack is the practice of sending emails that appears to be from trusted sources with a goal of gaining personal information or influence users to do things. It combines social engineering, and technical techniques. It could involve attachment to an email that loads malware on your system. See, everywhere, every institute, every business, every offices, you find out certain mails are there and nobody is aware about those mails, and they click those information, attach those information has been clicked by them, and that malware has been entered. That is a phishing attack. And that take control of all your email addresses and everything and sends the mails to the known persons. This is basically very tough to control those attacks. So you have to be taking care about all these attacks and be aware about, and should give awareness to all the users who are using these emails. It sends the mails to your known persons from your email ID by hacking this mail account. It could also link to the websites that can trick your downloading over and handling over your personal information. See, this spear phishing is a very target type of phishing activity. Attackers take the time to conduct a search into target and create messages that personal relevant. So this phishing is very hard to identify and very hard to defend. So it's very tough sometimes whenever this kind of attack is there in the network. It's very difficult to control. So sometimes you find a problem that your IP has been blocked by the service providers or has been blacklisted. So you are unable to send the mails to anywhere else. So you have to be careful about all these things. Otherwise, when your IP has been blocked by the service provider or by any agency, a government agency, then it's very tough to take control of things. So it's very, very real. These are the attacks are very common attacks, and one of the simplest ways that the hackers can conduct spear phishing attack is email spoofing, which is when the information is from section of the email is there, then making it appears it is common from somebody you know, but when you check out, it company name is different. So another technique is, but nobody, see, awareness is required. Nobody checks those things. Another technique that used to add credibility to the stories of website cloning. This, see, website cloning is a common thing. There are many cloning techniques have been there, and anybody can hack your websites also. So I told you on the firewall, if you have this demilitarized zone has been created there, then it's tough for them to have certain things. But yes, but cloning can be done. It's possible. But if nobody is aware about these things, anybody, any person can learn those things and can hack your websites. You can clone those things very easily. Next one is the drive-by attack. Drive-by attack is one of the attack like downloading things, certain things on your machine. That means if you download certain things which you are not aware, it's either from the open source or from any other sites, or you are exploring the internet site, and like window shopping you are doing, same thing, you are exploring the websites. Sometimes a website will tell you that this download this or download that. Some of the persons can download those contents, which is very dangerous, and hackers look for insecure websites and plant a malicious script into the HTTP code of the page. And this script might install malware directly onto someone who visited the site. See, drive-by download can happen when visiting a website or viewing an email messages or pop-up window. Basically, you can download the contents. Then when you visit the site or you view the mail or pop-up window, this can be downloaded automatically. Unlike many other types of cyber attacks are there, the drive-by does not rely on the users to do anything to actively enable the attack. You don't have to click download button or open a malicious email attachment. So this is one of the thing which you have to be careful about this while clicking clicking those things. And this can take the advantage of the application operating system or web browser that contains security flaws due to unsuccessful or lack of updates. So this is very important. You have to be update yourself. You have to update your system. You have to update everything, either it's antivirus or anti-spammer, whatever you installed on the machines, you have to update. And the firewall you have to configure in the machines itself. Then to protect yourself from this, you need to keep your browser and operating system up to date and avoid websites that might contain malicious. So you don't explore certain websites which you are not aware of. Then stick to these sites you normally use, although keep in mind that even these sites can be hacked. Don't keep too many unnecessary programs and applications on your device. That is also very much dangerous. And the most unplug, you have the more vulnerabilities, and that can be exploited by the drive-by attacks. The other one is the password attack. See, everybody knows guessing the passwords. So it's very easy to guess the passwords if you feel insider or unknown person is there. If he or she knows the date of birth or your nickname or some other name. So every time, see, the most common thing is this password attack. See, everybody knows that they never change the passwords. Sometimes they use admin, sometimes they use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like this. They're simple. These are the simple passwords. Everybody using these kind of passwords so that they can be really remembered. But this can be really. We have seen many examples here in campus itself that the passwords have been totally changed by the attackers and they have taken control of the whole data. So this password is a commonly used mechanism to authenticate users to an information system obtaining passwords. And it's common and effective attack approach. So access to a password can be obtained by looking around the person's desk, that is sniffing. So connection to the network require unencrypted passwords using social engineering, gaining access. See, give you one example. You can easily, like Facebook, you just don't use your phone, don't open your phone number and your date of birth. And anybody can hack your Facebook account. So they can have the whole, the hackers can do easily hack those things. if you can open up your date of birth and your phone number. So this is the simplest way to hack the machine or to hack your Facebook account or anything else. So try to protect yourself. Don't show each and every information of yourself publicly. Don't show those things. It's very important. We have guided the students of first year whenever they enter into this campus. We inform them certain policies have been created. We inform them what to do, what not to do. So we guide those things to the students when they enter into the campus. This password guessing is one of the common practice done by anyone else. It means using random approach by trying different passwords and hoping that one work, some logic can be applied by trying passwords related to the person's job title or something. Or dictionary attack is in this, if they use it, common passwords, which I told you. In order to protect yourself, don't use those common passwords, and you need to implement you have to implement account policy, which will lock the account after a few invalid password attempts. So this is very important thing. You have to create a policy at the back end, so that after number of attempts, like State Bank of India, if you try 5 times, after 5 times, it will block your account for 24 hours. And it will send the information to you also that somebody is trying to access your account. So that kind of thing has to be created at the back end to take control of each and every. The other attack is the SQL injection attack. This is also one of the common attacks. This is a manipulate. When you heard about this front end loading like HTML or PHP and back end loading, that is some database or some admin is there. So SQL means is the SQL language database where the data is to be retrieved. So whenever you open up any site, like say for example, you enter some information, username or password, when you get some error, that means that site is not safe. So it shows that if error comes, it shows that it executes everything. So if you try it, like if you try any website, this kind of website, and type SQL PHP question mark ID is equal to 1, that gives you the true information 1 is equal to 1, and you can easily hack that particular page of that website. So this is a SQL injection. That means when a SQL injection means when in a SQL command, it's a select. You select the command *.* from the database, so you can fetch the information easily. That select means, so whenever you have the information, when all these errors comes in on those pages, so that can be easily hacked by trying those things, and the whole database can be easily hacked by the machine by this SQL injection. This is a very common issue of database websites. It occurs when it executes SQL query to the database. So SQL commands are inserted into the data plane input, for example, instead of logging a password, in order to run predefined SQL commands. So a successful SQL injection exploits can read sensitive data from database and it modify the database also and execute the administration operations also, such as you can shut down the machine, you can recover, you can take out the data, do many things, issue commands to the database. So this is one of the most important attack, which is you have to be take care about this attack. So I think it's 11:27. I can just stop it here. I have another session that is tomorrow around 2:30. In which I can show you some of the devices which have been installed here and how we can we are ensuring 24/7 to 365 days, how we are using certain tools and for protecting ourselves, how we are which tools we are using on open source and which tools and which hardware we are using for database. That will show you certain things tomorrow also. And we can also give you the brief introduction of how this networks here, exactly how we are safe, and what we have done so far in in the present scenario. So I'm stopping here, and Aman. Hello, Amandeep.
Thank you, Batish. Thanks for your such a elaborative session which you gave. Maybe I was a part of the session sometimes, but this is what was required as far as network infrastructure security is concerned. Because you have practical experience, that's why you could deliver it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Actually, my main lecture is basically delivering the exact thing physically. I can show them, but that will make much more interesting. But here I am not able to. I am not able to show those things. I can only speak those things. But if I show those things, that was much more interesting topic in that sense. Then they can feel real thing that this thing can be happened and this thing can be done at our end.
Maybe in the next session we can show them pictorially. Okay, this is the things which we are utilizing as far as network security we are doing at our PEC as a case study.
Sure, sir. Sure. What I will do is that from my mobile I can show into the center our server room.
Yeah, that's what you can show there.
I can show that how we have done certain things, and so that they can have the knowledge and aware about those things, how we can integrate those things in.
Right.
Right, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a wonderful session. There are a lot of comments in the chat box also, if you wish to go through them.
Oh, really? Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
I hope Batish, you have seen the chat box. For there any query they got?
Sir, I have not seen. Just मैं तब से सर बोल ही रहा था. I'll just see. I'll just check.
In case you just go to chat box, in case there is certain queries, we can answer those.
I think, sir, there is one query. Windows uses what type of firewall?
It's very simple. It's very simple. If you type on a command prompt a firewall, it will automatically come and prompt a firewall, and from there switch on or off your firewall. What I can say, just try to explore those things on Google also. It's very simple. See, every machine has a firewall, but how to execute those things is the simple thing. See, Google out those. If you don't find, I am available tomorrow itself, and I will give you the also how you can this protect your machine itself from.
Maybe in the next session, in case you can make it, you can show them. Fine.
Sir, main thing is whenever you from this to other thing, it hangs or it stucks. That's why I'm not trying to do certain activities. I tried two things here, but it stops, and again I have to.
That stop your processes.
Yes, that stops the process. Otherwise, I told you that if we in the live sessions, I can show them certain many things. I can show that these things can be done like this, like this, like this.
Okay, that's all. That's what you can tell them. Fine.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Right, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, sir. Dear participants, now we'll be taking a break for tea. Any other questions you can ask, sir, in the next session?
No?